What is going on, people? Welcome back to Hatoraid Live, the Hatoraid Hour podcast. A couple of reminders before we get started. Let's have fun. Let's be kind to one another. And let's keep it G-rated. So this is
steamed.
like to welcome everybody to the stream. Thank you guys for joining. All those who join in later, thank you. So this is going to be a Cedia 2023, basically kind of recap, and then we'll talk about some channel updates and stuff like that. But I didn't come alone. I got some fellow content creators with me that were here that was there at Cedia. So we got Ike from Easy Home Theater Tech, his YouTube channel. Next we got coming to you live from the Grid Hi-Fi in Houston, Texas, Dr. Chris Mata.
Baby.
And then we got Youth Man, Michael Stevens. What's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
How's everybody doing?
Chilling. Good. Still at
doing
work.
Good? I know, man. This guy's hustling.
I'm out here slinging TVs and focal speakers, man. Shoot.
Nice. See, we got some people in the chat. Let's see who we got. Jonathan Rowe. Hello, everyone. What's up, Jonathan? Nicholas Ruminos. Sorry if I mispronounced that. What's going on? Michael Luna. Hello, everyone.
Can we join the chat? I have to connect my YouTube. I don't want to jump off.
Yeah, sorry. This plan only allows for one. StreamYard's being kind of janky lately, but
you can open up the chat in like a separate tab.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rad. Let me do that.
Just go to his channel. Hit
go to his channel and you can.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Appreciate that.
Pop out the chat.
Keeping up with the Joneses. Good evening to all. Ian's in the chat. Looks like
keeping up with the Joneses. That guy's been around for a while, man.
He's on everybody's channel, man.
He used to just be on mine. Now he's on everyone's.
Yeah, so we were just gonna
publish videos for like a year.
Right? You gotta get on it, man. Greg says a super chat. Appreciate that. It's that SVS sub guy with the beard.
Hey, check it out right over here. All SVS.
Oh yeah.
Brand new area coming soon.
Nice. Yeah, so we were just going to talk about Cedia, our experiences, maybe some of the things that we thought was stood out impressive to us, and just kind of give you guys a recap for those of you that aren't able to go. Cedia is basically a dealer and installer driven kind of a show. It's not really open to the public. You can get in sometimes, but yeah, we were all there. I was there Wednesday through Friday. I believe Chris was there Wednesday through Friday as well, right?
Yep.
And Michael, you were there Wednesday through Saturday.
Yeah.
And same for you, Ike?
Thursday through Saturday.
Oh, Thursday through Saturday. Cool. All right. Well, before we get into Cedia, I was just going to give everybody an opportunity maybe to give some updates on, their channel, anything that they wanted to let the people know, anything they're doing that's pretty cool that's coming out soon, or home theater updates. Ike, what you got? You doing anything special or anything coming up on your channel?
I wouldn't say it's special, but I've just been uploading a couple of the contents that I made while at Cedia, and thinking of doing a home theater tour probably in the coming week or two. So that's really it.
Nice. What kind of home theater?
I have a friend who was asking me to come over. He just recently did some upgrade to his home theater. I'll be going out there, and I'm thinking of doing one for my own home theater. I don't think I've actually done a complete home theater tour for mine.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be trying to do that probably later on this year on my channel as well. Michael, what you got going on, man? Anything special? I know you just got that NZ8.
Yeah. So I did one video on that, but really I'm just trying to get all my content from Cedia because I've got 15 videos to.
Oof, that's a lot.
Get done. So it's trying to do one a day, but it's like one every day, one every 2 days, just depends. So on how long the video.
Cool. What about you, Chris? What you got going on in your channel?
Yeah. Good point to bring it up. I've been missing for a while. I'm pretty much turning into expo only, convention only publisher. I am a GM of a hi-fi shop, the Grid Hi-Fi out here in Houston now. So my time is pretty much eaten up taking care of all those responsibilities and whatnot. But the thing is I've been recording for over a year, and I have a whole lot of content. Jordy needs to go ahead and edit it for me. And whenever all that stuff's done, you guys will see a lot more. Actually, thanks to this podcast that you guys did earlier, I sold 12 of my Ascendo speakers
nice.
off of this podcast. Literally just trolling the comments. Hey, I'm selling my stuff. You guys got the word out and helped me sell that stuff. So I really appreciate it. And shameless plug, I still have some more left. Do you guys want to save 80 grand on a 50-inch subwoofer? I still have it available, and my front stage has got to go as well. So help me fund my next upgrade.
Which is what? Do you want to say?
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. All right. All right. So for my channel, I just got the RMC1 Emotiva. So I've been trying to set that up. My theater is in a complete disarray. I took every single thing out of my rack. I'm doing a video on that because it was a rat's nest in there. Kind of embarrassing. So I'm working on that, waiting on to get some more stuff tomorrow so I can finish doing the wiring on that. And then I've got the new Zedu, I believe it's the Z20 Pro. So I need to do a video on that. And then I'm also going to be still uploading some stuff got a couple more videos from Cedia. So we'll be doing that. So cool.
Be cranking them out.
Yeah, it's man, if you guys don't know, man, it's busy, especially if you're running around. I know we were all running around. I saw Ike, Chris. I didn't see Michael one time while I was there. I don't know where he was at. He was probably shooting some stuff, but it's crazy, man. And I apologize for the quality on my audio. It's a little janky in there trying to hone in your audio. And my I was messing with some settings with my wireless recorders, and I think
Payback, bro.
Yeah, I think I did something, but also too, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. There's like Wi-Fi, and then there's all kinds of stuff on one of my videos. Like the audio just completely cut out from something. So, but yeah, we're all publishing some videos, so make sure you check those out and do us a favor and subscribe if you're not already.
Yeah, just so you guys know, Jordan was editing my videos for last Cedia and Expona, and he was complaining about my microphones. So I guess the microphone gods got him.
This is true.
Payback.
Yeah. It's time to get the new 32-bit float, which I believe Michael got that already, right?
Yeah.
Didn't come in time for Cedia though, huh?
No, I was trying to get in before Cedia, but
like they just got launched like on the 28th, or no, they're not even out yet.
The
but
morning.
Those roads are where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell the current roads that I have so I can get it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to do that for next. I think I'm pretty much done this year for shows. So I think CES is coming. Actually, I just registered for CES a couple of days ago. They sent an email. So I might try to get that for CES because CES is going to be even crazier.
Is it still in January?
Is it though?
Yeah, but actually,
it's the TV convention.
It's the TV convention. Yeah, actually, it's the second week this year, and it's Tuesday through Friday or Wednesday through Friday. It's not on the weekend anymore.
Yeah, because the adult film convention's on the weekends.
Yeah. So let's talk about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say after Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm not going anywhere in January.
Makes sense. Actually, let's check out some of these comments here. Hello, first Cedia bucket list checked, but hopefully again next year. Appreciate it. Let's see. We bow in the presence of greatness. Hi from UK. I don't know who you're talking about here, but appreciate you joining in, man.
Must be Chris.
That home theater dude lives.
Apparently I do.
Is this still an M-Wave podcast? Unfortunately not. We did all of our M-Wave stuff. Actually, you want to talk about that a little bit? Michael, what's new for next year? I know you said you changed some dates, right?
Yeah, June 21st through the 23rd. So it'll be in the same location, Kansas City Convention Center. We're pretty much limited to the amount of rooms that we've got. We've got 14 rooms that we rented last year. So this year we'll still have the same amount. The only thing that we can really expand this year is having like kind of like a small expo area for brands that don't need a big 1,400 square foot room. But other than that, man, we're ready. It's gonna be good.
What are the dates again?
June the 21st through the 23rd.
Cool. Yeah, so I guess let's talk about Cedia. So who's been a Cedia the most here? Probably Michael or Chris, huh?
Probably not me. I've only been twice. I tried
Yeah.
to go 2 years
Me.
ago, but that's when everybody was shutting down and backing out. How many
Okay.
years have you been, Chris?
I think this is my fourth.
Yeah. And then Ike, this was your first year? Second year?
Man,
Oh yeah,
I
because
drove you all over Dallas last year, Michael.
I met y'all for the first time last year there.
Remember.
That's funny. Yeah, so
Yeah, bro.
so we've got a couple years between us.
Mhm.
So what is y'all guys' experience with Cedia versus like CES and some of the other shows, Expona? Chris, what's
This
your
this is
your
our
experience?
Super Bowl, man. Like this is what all the blood, sweat, and tears pays off for. And if you guys don't know, the reason for the season is because the company's fiscal year starts in September, so they always like to hit the ground running with a bang. So that's the reason why all these products and all the new stuff comes out before the holiday season. It's not necessarily to get you guys to buy stuff for the holiday season, which it doesn't hurt, but there's some people pulling the strings behind the curtain. So the idea is that you showcase your best and baddest, or your best and greatest products, so that you can create excitement for the next year going in there. And also, they've been really pushing innovation the
Mhm.
last couple of years. I think
Mhm.
that this year, with the audio leaps and bounds ahead of where they were last year, I think that the gap is starting to close in on the higher end stuff. It's not necessarily trickling down to the more consumer based type stuff, but the guys that have the Trinovs, the Storms, it's just getting better and better and better for all those guys. But I was really impressed with a lot of the audio demos, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit later on. But Jordan, again, didn't get to check out the Trinov demo with the Sendo this year. He was
Second year in a row, I missed it.
missing during that one.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate. I guess, and I actually had an appointment there, and I showed up for my appointment just a little bit late, but apparently they like double and triple booked. So yeah, but we'll talk about that room too. Ike, what's your experience going for 2 years so far on Cedia versus some of the other shows?
It was good. I think last year when I went for the first time, I spent a lot of time trying to meet a lot of people and just introducing myself. This year I did not really have to do a lot of introduction, which I think was
Nice.
good. Made me feel much more comfortable. So I was in a much more relaxed mode and just got straight, trying to get content and just grinding because I only had Friday.
Mhm.
So yeah, but it was fun. It was a lot fun than last year for me.
Mike, what about you?
As far as
Like, what are your thoughts on Cedia this year versus maybe last year or some of the other shows that we've been to?
I mean, for the most part, it's about the same. Seemed like there's more people this year. Everybody's kind of more comfortable with, getting past COVID and everything. Even though two of the guys that I was talking with at the show, they were like, "Dude, I'm sick as a dog."
Oh
So they
no.
came on with it after the show. But yeah, as far as it was good seeing. Of course, the biggest thing for me is connecting with everybody, connecting with people, connecting with the brands, connecting with content creators. That's always great. Seeing the new, products is super cool as well too. Whenever new brands are announcing that for the first time at Cedia, so that's always good. And just hanging out, man, having a good time.
Cool. All right, so I guess why don't we talk about maybe some of the highlights that you thought were impressive, TVs, audio, or what you thought stood out to you. Ike, what about you?
Hisense. I think Hisense, the new TVs that they have already on the market are probably coming out soon. I think Hisense is really closing the gap on a lot of the TV manufacturers. Yes, it's not Sony, it's not LG, but I think I like, just based on what I was able to see with the TVs, especially the mini LED, the 100 one,
Mm-hmm.
it was really, really impressive. So I used to be kind of skeptical about Hisense and the visuals of the wall, but I think Hisense has probably closed that gap with this new lineups that they have. I think that was what I found quite interesting.
Did they tell you how much they were going to be selling it for, Ike?
He said between 5 and 6 grand. That's what he told me.
See,
Yeah.
I'm getting
100
conflicting reports on that.
They said 5, yeah.
They
Yeah,
said
he
5.
said between,
Now the
he said
MSRP,
between-
I guess, somehow is like
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, because I got
Yeah.
the release notes, and it actually says 10 in the paper.
Yeah,
But I was
they-
hearing some people said 5, and I was like,
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, that
maybe
makes
we
sense.
shouldn't say that then, but
yeah.
They have the new Sony out that's right now. That one's a 98, and that one MSRP is 10. And whenever it comes down to it, once Best Buy gets a hold of them, it'll end up being, on discount anyway. But yeah, I think around 5,000 makes really good sense for Hisense, especially since they're so competitive in how they price their products. And again, Ike, you 100% said it. They're not Sony, they're not LG, they're not Samsung, but they tackle different aspects of the business that work well within them and their marketing. Because let's face it, everyone wants to save a buck. If you can get something that's good and save some cash, might as well do it.
definitely. Yeah, I think, before when it was just Samsung and Sony and LG, they could charge whatever they want. But now these other, TCL, Hisense, some of these other TV manufacturers they're closing that gap. And so now that competition is pushing everybody to make awesome TVs and to be, affordable. So we had a question here from Keeping Up with the Joneses. Did JVC demo their new firmware update for HDR Gen 2 tone mapping for the laser projectors, and was there a noticeable difference? So I know that they announced it, and I actually didn't get to go into the room this year, but did anybody else get to go in there, check that out? Chris?
Jordan, where were you at Cedia, man?
Dude,
Like, what did you do, man?
so I was running around filming stuff for my channel, and then I was also doing some stuff for projectorscreen.com and then a couple other things. So the couple rooms that I really wanted to see, I did get to see the Grimani room, so that I got to see. But yeah, I was busy, man.
Mr. Cedia over here.
I'm giving you a hard time, man.
Next
He's
time,
the man of the people.
of the people.
Vincent T.
Yeah, next time I'm definitely going to. I think I'm going to do less scheduling, and I'm just going to, because most of the time when you schedule, either people are late before you are taking up some of your time, so you might as well just walk up on them and be like, "Hey, can I shoot something?" Because if you do a schedule, it doesn't ever work out.
That was my biggest problem with scheduling this year. Usually I just walk up, be like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And then this year I overscheduled and I was waiting around half the show, and by the time like 3:00 was there, I was exhausted. Now I was just ready to just get out of there. So
yeah, I didn't have any schedule. I just walked them.
see, you're smart.
You got 5 minutes. You got 10 minutes. That's all I did.
Yeah, most of the time they're standing around anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
my channel is still growing, so it's like, yeah.
So someone said they saw the JVC room. Was that Chris?
Anyway, so yes, we did see the JVC frame adapt room. Youth Man, what do you think, man?
I liked it. I mean, it's a beautiful image. I've seen the NZ9 several times. As far as like to be able to compare old versus new, that's going to be hard to do, especially if you can't see them side by side.
I didn't see a groundbreaking difference in between Gen 1 and Gen 2. But I mean, it's kind of hard because JVC is the leading edge anyway on dynamic tone mapping without an external processor. So whenever you're talking about splitting the hairs there, and you're talking about improving upon the gold standard, it's not necessarily easy to do that. So even if they can get you just incrementally better with a free upgrade, I think that's definitely worth its weight in gold. And for all you big dogs out there that have mad VR money, turn it off and experience your JVC with Mad VR with Motion AI. It's definitely a game changer. I do it all the time at my house whenever people come over, and it's literally like you 2x'd the price of the projector. It's that good.
Yeah, I saw it firsthand. About a month and a half ago at your house, and it was pretty sweet. I remember I walked in there,
turned it off, and then we played it with the 50 and without the 50, and you lost your mind.
Yeah, that
So is
that
it?
that frame rate adapt is pretty nice, man. Because we were watching, I think you put on Ready Player One, and he had the AI motion, and I was looking at it, and I forgot, and I was like, man, why does this look so smooth? It's not supposed to look like that, but it looks awesome. And I forgot. I was like, oh, you got that man VR AI smoothing stuff. So, what
Yeah,
were you
like
saying?
I
Something?
don't turn it on crazy like a lot of people do, because then it kind of detracts from the overall system. But if you just have it on there subtle, it adds a nice sense of realism to it, and it really just engages you a little bit more.
Yeah, I believe Michael, you had it in your theater too, right?
Mhm.
For a while. Do you
Yes.
you still have it?
Yep.
Do you ever use that
Yeah.
motion AI? And what do you think
Yeah.
about
We
it?
downloaded the Motion AI as soon as it came out.
Yeah, I
Nice.
think right now it's only available to the insiders, right? Like it's not even publicly available yet,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
and
think
you
they're
have to have
getting
it
ready
on an
to.
extreme.
Yeah, I think they're
I
getting
was
ready.
just about to ask that if it's only on the extreme or if
Right
it's
now,
on
it's
the
just on the extreme, and I'm not sure if they're going to bring it to the pros just yet. But
come on.
but right now, personally, I have a Mark One, and we literally just got our showroom demo of the Mark Two Extreme delivered today. So we're going to be getting that loaded up really, really quickly so that we can show more people. Because literally, every single time someone comes out and checks this thing out in person, they buy it. Like it's that good.
Nice. All right. So what else? What else, Mike? What was your most impressive either room or product that you saw at Cedia?
I don't even know if I have like a most impressive, but one that I think that I was really excited about, and it's not nearly the most expensive thing there. It was Martin Logan's new motion series. Man, I'm really loving what I'm seeing with that. It's pretty much affordable for most people. I mean, you're not talking about ultra thousands of dollars for a system, but it's not, super cheap either. Like not super budget friendly, but for a couple grand for a couple of speakers, probably that whole system might be 10. I'm thinking 10, maybe a little bit more than 10. Um, but we listened to some music, we listened to some home theater demos, and that was a super super impressive room. I've got the system here in for review, but I only had the two speakers hooked up so far.
Okay.
So that was the first time I had a chance to hear it collectively as an entire system. And they were running, they had towers for side surrounds and rear surrounds. I think they had 4 subwoofers in there, but it was just a really, really sweet system. Another cool demo that they did was over at the Trenov booth, and they did the waveforming. So that was interesting. They did it with and without, which Jordan did not get to experience, unfortunately.
2 years in a row, man. 2 years in a
Yeah,
row.
but that was pretty cool. Basically they did a frequency sweep from, I don't know, maybe like 20 hertz up to 200 hertz or something like that. And without it, you could literally hear the gaps, the holes in the frequency response. And so it just sounded kind of weird, like it does a lot of times if you're only running one sub. So when they did the waveforming, it literally was just this linear, very smooth frequency sweep. Now, it would have been interesting to see like the actual frequency response maybe before and after, but they didn't do that. They just let us experience that. But that was pretty cool. But like Fred said, that was 24 subwoofers.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I think Chris, were you in there? Did they do a demo with less than the 24? I think they
Yeah.
mentioned
So
that.
the way they did it is they did 4 different demos.
Mm-hmm.
And the first demo, well, one, they had it off, right? So they had the entire system running. And then they did the frequency sweep, right, from 20 to 100.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have slowed it down,
Mm-hmm.
which would have helped nail
Sure.
that point home more.
Yeah.
But whenever they turned it on, they were using all of the 24 whenever they did the frequency sweep.
Right.
But the idea is it literally sounded like you were listening to a tone generator. Like it didn't sound like you were listening to a finished room.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounded so linear and so crisp with the bass response. And that's only telling one part of the story because you can't hear the infrasonic stuff that was on there had they have done a sweep under 20.
Sure.
So just to have that overall experience, it was really, really cool for sure. But to answer your question, Michael, whenever they were talking about the 4 different demos, The
Right.
first one, John Wick, with that absolute crazy slam whenever he's punching the board,
Right.
that was just with 5 subwoofers,
Okay.
5 21-inch subwoofers. The second demo was with a 12x2, which 12 subwoofers in the front, 2 in the back.
Right.
So, almost like a more realistic type of approach because, you're not going to have a 12 and a 12.
Yeah.
But that was for the Pink, or not Pink Floyd, the Queen movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 2 demos with Quiet Space and what was the last one? Because I didn't edit that last one. What was it?
I don't know.
Anyways, those were in.
Don't ask
those
me.
Were in, huh?
I said, don't ask me. I wasn't in there.
Oh yeah, you weren't there. But it was 12 and 12 on that one. So like it got incrementally better as you went up. I kind of felt like, and this was during the press demo because I didn't go during the regular, the regular time. One, because the line was just crazy long. But it sounded like on the first one that they could have turned down the subs just a smidge because it almost felt like you were overworking them at that point. But yeah, the 12 and the 12 was really linear and really perfect. The only gripe that I have with the overall demo is that it's cheating, right? So with the room, you're in a room that cost over $100,000.
Yeah.
And that's the acoustic design of that room. So you can have a $1,500 subwoofer and it's going to sound incredible in that room. You can have a cheap pair of speakers and they're going to sound incredible in that room because the engineering and the audio fluid dynamics and all the stuff was thought out for that specific room. So adding 24 subwoofers in there didn't necessarily make the biggest statement in my mind. One, because I've already heard those types of rooms, which they are incredible. I'm not going to refute that. But into another demo, I think that the Gramani system, I think that they did more with less, and so did Alcon's. So both of those did a really, really good representation too, and I'm sure we'll talk about those in a minute.
Yep. So we got a super chat. Thank you for that, Michael and Chris. So we got a super chat. Michael Walker, appreciate that. Michael says, "What's your opinion of the What's your opinion of the Nakamichi Dragon, which I received on September 6th, haven't set up yet, I guess. I'm still blown away by the Nakamichi Ear 9.2.4. I don't know if anyone here's heard it. I haven't heard it. My coworker actually bought one. He's one of the first ones that bought one. He actually just messaged me a couple of days ago that it actually shipped. So I'm hoping that he'll let me go over there and either film the unboxing or film some content once he gets it set up. But I personally haven't heard it yet. Has anybody else got a chance to hear it?
No, I haven't.
Nope, I've not.
Now we're turning into Jordy on this one.
Well, like I said, my coworker, he has one on the way. It's actually shipped. So hopefully I'll be able to answer that question.
That'd be super cool
In
if
the
you can get
future.
over there.
What's that, Mike?
I said that'd be cool if you can get over there and film some with him.
Yeah. See if he'll let me film. And then
Yeah, apparently that was the talk of the town at CES, right?
Yeah. I know there was a couple. I think Techno Dad and Elon Osborne made some videos on it. They heard it and they said it was amazing. And Michael Walker has another one. What's your opinion on AWOL 3000 Pro?
Don't anyone answer this. You might get a lawsuit.
I didn't go to that booth this year. I did at was it CES? I only spent incremental time with them. I mean, it looks good. Anybody else on that?
Yeah, I walked past it a couple of times and it looked good, but did not make any content on their booths.
I don't think that they do themselves any favors by having the demo playing 150-inch 3D image with passersby. Like that's not going to grab their attention because you're walking by without the glasses on, and so it's not really enveloping. It's more like distracting.
Let's see. Greg says, saw the demo on the Masking Outside Theater, but I went with a MadVR for nonlinear stretch to use on multi-view for, what is that?
YouTube TV?
Oh, YouTube TV football weekends and constant AR for movies that switch. Cool. Joe Wire says, I think you can find a MadVR cheaper than you think, especially used Mark 1 Pro.
Hey, dog, I sell these things. Calm down.
And he's in Houston somewhere too.
Yeah, he's mucking it up for me.
Yeah, Joe, if you have another one for 3,500, just let me know.
I'll buy
Please,
another one so I
let me
can.
know.
Like, I personally
me
took
know,
mine out of
okay?
my rack to give to a
I
customer to
said it
demo.
first.
That's funny.
Let's see. Keeping up,
3,500, and I'll come pick it up myself.
keeping up with the Joneses says, I hate variable aspect ratio ever since I went with a 239 screen, 2.39 screen. Interesting. Why do you feel that way? Keeping up with the Joneses. Let's see.
Well, if you don't have a processor, then if you're on a 240 like this, it'll just overshoot every single time. It's going to change the aspect ratio. So even if you have a lens, it's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, the only way around that is if, Tristan, if you want to put like masking inside like your projector, a lot of them will have where they basically just hide any light output on that. So still not ideal because you can miss content there, like your menus and different things. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Fortunately, there's so few. I know some people are like, well, what do you do with that? I mean, man, there's really only a handful that do the variable aspect ratio. So to design a system or a home theater around that, just for that sake, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think he made his bed and he's lying in it with buying a 239 screen. I mean, like, you're a very specific, very particular person if you want to get one of those. So,
Yeah.
You can't really have the best of both worlds unless you pay the green to get one of those Mad VRs. It's like a unicorn box. It does everything.
Yeah, and even when you pay for the Mod VR, how many contents are actually out there that's going to utilize
Yeah.
all of that? I don't
Yeah.
know
Well,
how
I mean,
many movies are out there.
Christopher Nolan's probably the only one that's doing that, aspect ratio change. I mean, it's cool. It's cool when you're watching it, but yeah, if you have a scope screen, it's going to be annoying unless, like Chris said, you're going to shell out the money for a Mad VR. But I mean, like, just that alone is, for me, would kind of be worth it, just to be able to not have to worry about, let me set a setting on my projector for scope and one for 16:9. So it's a lot of people poo-poo on Mad VR because of the price, and yes, it is expensive, but if you see it in person and you see what it can do, it's pretty
impressive.
sweet.
Anything that makes your life easier, even though you have to pay for it. I mean, like, and then we can kind of even go off on a tangent here, in which everyone's favorite kick toy is Kaleidoscape. Oh, it's too expensive. But literally, the stuff that we do, we're constantly demoing systems. We have friends that come over. We want to impress them. It breaks up the flow to sit there and go back and change out the disc and then search for whatever you want and then put it to the favorite scene. And then, like, it just takes you completely out of it. And even then, if you're doing the same thing with streaming, you have to worry about buffering and you want it to look good. And obviously I'm here using my webcam and not my actual Sony cam.
Joker.
But like, those things matter to a lot of people. So the idea is, things that are pricey, they're not pricey for no reason. They do that because performance, usually comes with a cost.
Yeah, and someone made a good point too. They were saying that with Kaleidoscape, those guys have never been hacked, like, ever. So they're probably putting a lot of money in there to make sure that encryption's not going to be easily, foiled. So it's a good system. And just for, even though I don't have one, just for the, like, Chris said, a lot of us, we do reviews and we put, movies and stuff in our videos. Just the fact that you can script videos and create, like, whatever 5-minute increments for that same scene, man, that is such a time saver. Like, I love Plex, and I use Plex a lot for, my videos, but being able to save a specific clip of a movie and just go there every single time saves so much time. You guys probably don't care about that very much, but for us, it's a big deal.
And also, like, to benchmark your systems, because, like, usually, like, whenever we get into, like, the audio file or video file type of people, they know how their stuff sounds. And if you want to change something out in their system or add an upgrade, like, say I got this better, HDMI cable or something, I want to test it out. Does it make a difference in video? Does it make a difference in audio? You can go to that same scene every single time and just swap things out in your rack and kind of do the scientific method. So that's kind of the thing that I like to do with that as well.
Nice. Thanks for that. Man, Michael Walker's dropping some cash today, man. Appreciate you.
I know.
He says, do you think Creston is extremely overpriced? Anybody want to comment on that?
Creston is.
Why?
Crestron
Crestron.
Maybe not.
I don't know
Crestron.
what Crestron is.
My
Now,
bad.
control systems by and large, they are very pricey. It doesn't really matter which one you go with. But again, like I was talking about, usually things that are expensive make your life easier. So sometimes people just like to pay for the convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jordan, he's got a follow-up comment, couple of down from that.
Let's
I got a
see.
Crestron.
Get the
system in my
50-inch
house.
Skindo and sleep on
Is it-
top of it.
Is it Michael Walker?
Mhm.
Help me sell it, Jared. I'll cut you in on the
Let's
proceeds.
see. Where is that one
Here we
at?
go.
Oh, you got
So
it.
they-
Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. I got a Crestron
I got a-
system in my house.
Go ahead.
I got a Crestron system in my house. 2005 it cost me $170,000.
Oh my goodness. Are you?
Is that like US dollars or some?
That's my house, bro.
That's not rupees, man. That's
Wow.
real bucks.
Wow.
Wow.
I wanted to upgrade it to 4K in 2014. They want another 120.
What?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I
Nah,
think
man.
Chris would do that for half.
There's no way I would pay that.
Right? Good.
I'm sorry, bro. Like,
120,000.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
I would go buy.
shop around for
I would
another
buy the
and
NX9.
the thing with Crestron is
not
once
VR.
you're in it for life. Like
Yeah.
you can't get out of it because they're the only people that make those drivers and that equipment for your gear. It doesn't really like to talk with other companies.
and then every time you have to make adjustments, you got to call them, and you got to pay to do that, right? Like, you
Yep.
don't get to just, oh, let me fix this by myself.
Or heaven forbid there's an update.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Michael, sorry about that, bro. That's pretty steep, man.
Yeah, man, stop donating, man. Save your money.
Yeah.
You got to pay for that
Stop,
Crestron system.
stop giving us super chats. We appreciate it, though. Seriously, we do. But whew, that's rough. I saw another super chat. Don Henley. Appreciate you, Don. Don Hensley. He says, what were your thoughts on the full digital Grimani system? So I was actually in this room, so I can actually talk about it.
Hey.
For once.
Yeah, so I thought that room sounded amazing. Anthony Grimani speakers. Me and Chris were actually talking about that on the way back to the airport in Denver. I didn't realize it's a turnkey system, but yeah, his stuff is legit, man. That room sounded pretty good. They had art turned on for the demo when they first started the demo. They had art turned on, and I was like, man, this sounds really good. And then they turned it off, and the bass was a lot more like in your face, and I was like, okay, it still sounds good. And then he turned it back on again, and then I was like, oh, okay, I see. Like, you won't, unless you do the side-by-side comparisons or the A/B comparisons, you won't really know. And yeah, art's pretty incredible. Like what it can do using, all your speakers. Basically, I think it turns all your speakers into like full range, or it uses the full capabilities of your speakers with your subs. It's pretty impressive. What else was in there? So they had the Grimani speakers. Yeah, but to answer your question, I thought it sounded incredible. It's pretty impressive what technology, these things like Trinov and Storm Processors that are doing these days. It's really amazing. And if you can get to a show or something, or even like M-Wave, it's pretty impressive, man.
Or
And
French
it's yeah. So I lost my thought. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is, for those of you that have Dirac, I don't know. I know it's exclusive to Storm, I think, until like October or November.
I think they said November. I did a podcast
November?
with one of the guys before Cedia. I just couldn't get the video out in time. You guys will see that shortly. But it, in my estimation of what it does, is it's not the same as the waveforming thing that we're talking about with Trinov. These are, obviously you can't have the exact same thing do the same thing. Otherwise, you're going to have copyright and patent problems. But it basically turns the room into shock absorbers with your speakers. So it's making the sound a lot more clear and resonant, so that it's focused more versus, the tiger coming all around the room and you're hearing it at the last second. You can't necessarily pinpoint where that tiger is.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Mike, did you hear that room?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was your thoughts?
I liked it. That was the first time I'd ever heard Grimani's speakers.
Same.
So definitely one of those things where, and truthfully, I didn't know he actually made speakers.
Me either.
You always hear of his name mentioned in the design aspect of it. But when I found out he had speakers on it, okay, this is cool. And the thing is he really hasn't advertised that. He hasn't promoted that. And so he's working with a gentleman that's trying to, like, hey, people need to know that you make awesome speakers. And so he's beginning to kind of come out a little bit and share that with the world, so to speak. But I thought it sounded pretty incredible. Very, very detailed, very balanced. I think Gramani is one of those guys. He's not going to set up a system that's overly bass heavy or overly like your front sound stage heavy. It's just very balanced. I think he spends a lot of time calibrating, and it's probably about a 45-minute interview with him, and he was really, really excited about just where technology's going. That was the first full digital system at Cedia, like ever. They've been doing digital systems in the past, I think with Dante,
Yeah.
some of the other systems, but it's kind of interesting. There was, you've got Kaleidoscape, HDMI cable going down to the processor, which was, I think, a Storm Evo, I believe. And
Yeah, it was the
I
Mark
think so.
III Evo.
yeah,
The
you're
Evo.
going, I think, out of there into literally a network switch. And so these are all Ethernet cables. And so then out from there to the amplifiers. And then that's the only thing that's really analog. Everything else is digital.
It's
So
crazy.
it's definitely a really interesting. And he kind of goes into why he is really excited about that in the interview. So I'll have that probably, I think on Monday, I should have that video finished. So
Cool. Yeah, and I got a chance to interview him too a little bit, so I got that video up. So check out those videos. Ike, did you get to check out that room? What was your
Yep.
thoughts?
That's probably one of the best rooms that I got to demo. It was very detailed, just like Michael explained, with the clarity and it wasn't very loud, so they didn't have to play it as loud as the other rooms for you to get the same level of immersion. I think that was my biggest takeaway from the room. And I did try to interview him, but I couldn't. You spent plenty of time with the guy, so I just ended up moving to something else. But just chatting with him, with Gramani, very technical, PhD level guy, so it was good.
Yeah, he's a very, very intelligent man, really humble, and like I said, same with Chris. I didn't realize that he had his own speakers. I thought, I saw his Gramani system, and I'm like, oh, he just he calibrated the room acoustics and stuff. It's gonna sound amazing. And then when I got to talking to him, I was like, oh, he's had his own speakers for a while. That's pretty interesting. So we got a super chat here. Somebody's calling me out. Please stop saying it has never been hacked. Kscape doesn't offer hackers anything of value to hack it yet. Anything can be hacked. Fair enough. Appreciate the super chat.
I think what Jordan's trying
Bobby
to say-
sounded like a hacker there.
I mean, think about this. If you could hack a Kscape system, then technically you could download free content, full res, 1-to-1. I think that's what Jordan was saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
And-
Bobby Digital, not Bobby Analog.
I know, right? Hey, Bob, when you do it, just let me know.
Right. Okay, we got some controversy here. Joe Wire says, "Hey, I'm on the bandwagon of Kscape hate. It's a lot of money for just convenience. MadVR is a tool that makes a massive difference in more than one way. Kscape, I kind of want one, but find a deal."
Find the
You
hill you
found a
want to die
Mad VR
on,
for
man.
$3,500. You can find a
That's
case
hilarious.
for $600.
Oh man.
Joe.
I got a bridge in
You can
Brooklyn I
get
want to
you
sell
a
you too.
So keeping up with the Jones says, "Eskindo 50 install video on that home theater channel was epic. I hope there is an uninstall video. I don't, because that
Yeah.
wasn't fun. That wasn't fun putting
Jordy
that thing
didn't
in
like
there,
the
man.
install video.
That was not fun. How long did we spend? What, 4?
That was
4
like a
hours?
4-hour live stream in which that literally should have been a 20-minute endeavor, but we got a flat tire on a dolly. And
bootleg dolly that we
everyone was terrified to drop this thing that weighs 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. I think we spent the stream was like 4 hours. I think 3 hours and 30 minutes of it was us trying to figure out how to get off the dolly. It was pretty crazy.
It's still sitting there. See if you guys want it. I'll cut you a deal.
Nice. Michael says, I stopped using because it was too expensive. So I guess he's referring to Crushdon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me chime in on this Gramani system.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I think the first time I heard it was with a Storm processor. I think it was at Unlimited AV in Marin County. I was out there on assignment with ABS Forum to do, I think it was like a Kaleidoscape award or something. given to that dealer and also Kaleidoscape. But the idea with that system is it is literally a turnkey, set it and forget it. Like, I want a home theater, but I don't want to necessarily do any of the research myself. I have the funds. I want you to make this happen for me. Can you make this happen? And he does the fluid dynamics. He does the acoustics. He does the speaker placement. He does everything in there possible is done to the T. And even that we were in that room on the showroom floor in Cedia, in which Bang & Olufsen was blaring their $270,000 speakers at the loudest volumes possible, even right next to SVS, which was another 2 booths over. And these guys were being rowdy and unruly the entire time playing Ninja Turtles. So like you could literally hear people coughing and sneezing outside the entire time. So the room is leaking like crazy. And for you to have an acoustic environment in there, that is an absolute nightmare. But the way that they did it was just so seamless and effortless. Like, I think that was, to me, more of a wow factor than anything else that I saw on the showroom floor.
Nice. Yeah, it was impressive. That was my first time. It wasn't my first time hearing art. I've heard it a couple times before, but that was my first time hearing it with Grimani Systems. And just to echo what Michael said, that system sounded really good. I wish I would have got to hear the Trinov room to make some comparisons, but alas. All right, we got another super chat. Appreciate you, Greg. Says, I can attest to the Grimani system. Got the 11.4.4 Rixos Zeta setup. If in Vegas, come check me out.
Oh, cool.
I'm not familiar with that setup. You know what that is, Chris?
No.
Rixos Zeta setup?
Sounds rad.
It does sound rad.
Sounds like if Greg wants to hook up, hit us in the chat and we'll come out there and film it for you.
Do it. Let's see.
Greg. Just gonna leave the picture on me, bro? What's going on?
Just locked.
Your face is so beautiful.
Get out of here.
Let's see. Greg says, at Fred 215, I feel you budgeted monthly for 12 months to get the combo and the Sony 6000 ES, saving per day / week and selling off items. Yeah, man. It's anybody who's been in this home theater realm long enough knows it doesn't come easy, man. It takes time. Ask any of us, I don't know, maybe about Michael and Chris, they're the big ballers over there, but it takes time, man. You got to save up. If you got to sell some stuff, get you some Youth Man deals. Definitely, I can attest. I can attest that, it's been a long journey for me, and I'm just barely getting some of the stuff that I would like to get. So it takes time.
Like I think that your career is taking off because like even when we first started talking like a year and a half ago, roughly, your subscriber count was much lower. Your system wasn't as decked out as it is now. Like everyone's curve just goes differently. And mine, and I'm sure Michael can attest to this as well. I remember 4 years ago, I did that video at Trinov with the stupidest, pointiest beard in the world. And I was like, I will never be able to afford any of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then flash forward to 4 years, I have most of that stuff in my personal theater. Like
I never thought I'd
goals are attainable if you set your sights on them.
Yeah. And it takes time. I mean, I've had my theater room for 17 years. We built this house. I'd say build it. It was a new construction home, but it had just 4 walls. I mean, it wasn't a dedicated theater room. It was just a media room on the floor plan. And I was like, man, this would be a cool theater. And so over that period of time, I started off with, a couple speakers, and you just begin to build and add. And as deals come along and you sell some stuff, and then stuff's out in your garage that you haven't been using for years, and you sell that and you put that towards it. And the next thing you know, your system's beginning to turn into what you dreamed, So I'm with Chris. I think you just got to figure out like, what is your end goal? What's your end game? What are you trying to accomplish? And just start making steps towards that. This isn't a race to get to the end. It's like, just enjoy the journey along the process. And just have fun with it. So.
Yeah, the best part of The Hobbit wasn't the ending, like it was the journey there.
100%.
Like it's the entire story. Like we didn't know all the stuff that we did whenever we started this. I mean, like I'm still learning every single day with different things that I'm into now. Like I'm into lighting, I'm into outdoor audio. Like I didn't know any of that stuff whenever I took this mantle, but
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool to learn along the way. And you know, if the grass, you don't just water the grass when it's green. You water it constantly so it stays green. So that's kind of the wisdom that I'd like to leave with you guys.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, man. Take your time. I mean, you know, I think sometimes we get disillusioned when we see like these amazing home theater tours and we see these people that obviously have money, but even those guys have a budget. It may not seem like it, but I mean, I just shot a home theater. Everyone has a budget, man. And you know, don't get discouraged because you see somebody that has a $250,000 system or $50,000 system. Like, just take your time, man. Do what you can do. I know you got some people have families, that have kids, they have wives that say, I don't want to see speakers in, you know, in the living room or whatever. But man, you know, do what you got to do. Be happy with your stuff and just enjoy the journey, man. Because it's fun when you enjoy it and you don't worry about I have to get this right now. Like, it's fun because then you can look back and say, wow, I remember when I had those you know, those $50 bookshelf speakers, and you know, now I've got, you know, Focal or whatever. So
yeah, if you're handed something, it's not fun. You know, if you scrap and scrape and strive for it, it pays off. Like it's more of a validate, or not really validation, but it's more of a reward than anything. So
yep, and
keep your head down, keep grinding, get the toys that you want.
Yeah, chances are you'll probably be alone in the home theater watching it by yourself.
I never use mine. I literally never use mine. I probably use mine.
That's the honest truth.
Over there.
I guess I'm the only single guy over here using mine every day.
Watching it all by yourself.
Yep. I'm enjoying it while I can. All right, another super chat from Michael Walker. Man, appreciate you, bro. He says, when you go to Nakamichi Dragon, listen to Dune, John Wick 4, Training Day 4K. I listened to this on 9.2.4 eARC upgrade from the ARC, jaw on the floor. Yeah, I'm really curious about this Nakamichi, man. Like, it's getting I'm hoping that it actually lives up to the hype and it's not, because they're hyping it up a lot and it sounds like it's good, but I just hope that it lives up to the hype, especially for the price, because I think they've raised the price a couple of times.
Well, I mean, that Nakamichi was in Mercedes back in the Biggie Smalls days, man. Like, they've been coming up for the longest time.
Interesting. All right, so did anybody get to see? I know me and Chris talked about it. Anybody get to see that Just Video walls? That humongous. I actually shot a video. I need to get home that edit. I don't remember how big that wall was, but I think I want to say it was like 300 inches or something. It was crazy. So basically, it's these panels, and it's completely modular. They say that there's no limit, but it's these panels that you have, and then they can, you know, make them as big as you want. If you have a wall, you can make them as big as your wall. But man, that thing was impressive. Go ahead, Ike.
No, I was saying, yeah, it did. I think I took some shots of it. Now I wish I did full videos, but yeah, I was actually taking a look to see if I was going to be able to see the panels. But I think it looked better. There was one that was at last year's Cedia. I don't remember what company brought one of those types of panels.
That's the one that's with Kaleidoscope.
But you could actually see the different, the grids, and that was just not fun to look at. But this particular one looked very, very good.
Let me see if I can pull up an image of it. But yeah, it's I think the one that you're talking about is the one that's in front, or the one that's paired with that Kaleidoscope, right, Chris? What?
I don't think so. Usually with quantum media solutions, you can't necessarily see the grids because they have a really good pixel pitch on them, and they overlap the seams. But yeah, like with those new video walls that are coming out, like they're getting really, really good. And it seems like these third-party companies or these new emerging tech companies, it looks like they're doing them better than the big dogs. You know, even though that the big dogs have these things in like commercial movies and stuff like that, and they use them in the vault. Isn't it called the vault for, like, you know, Disney?
The void? No, the vault. You're right. Yeah. This thing is pretty impressive. You have to get like right up on it to actually see the seams. I can't find the video right now, but hopefully we release that at Corporate Days. What's that, Mike?
Sometimes it depends on the content. Like,
true, yeah.
You know, certain content I think it was the bright scenes. You could see some of the grid, you know, the lines and the panels more than on the darker scenes.
Yeah,
But
that's
I've
a
never
quality
seen-
control issue too, because that's their biggest thing. They realize how crazy expensive these things are,
Yeah.
so they're trying to mitigate the problems that are associated with that. Because like, let's face it, if you're going to be spending 300 grand on a TV, you're going to want it to be flawless. You're not
Yeah.
going to want to have compromises with that
Yeah.
type of system. So I think they are getting a lot better, but still, I don't think the technology with all of them is there yet. But there are a certain few of them that are definitely doing better than other brands.
Here's a good
What
question.
would
in
you
regards
watch?
to that.
What would you watch?
Send $5 in the super chat. I might tell you which ones.
Yeah. Not Michael, man. Save your money. Save your money, bro.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Michael?
Up for like direct deposit. You know?
Right.
Dip your
They're on
wiener.
a schedule.
We're here all night.
Well, you said you saw a comment, Michael.
This one right here. Do you know what the resolution of each panel is?
I think he said, and I need to double check the video. I think he said it's 4K, but the way he described it in the video, he was like, "These are 4K panels, but it's not 4K because you can make this as big as you want." But I believe the panels are
They have the pixel density, I guess, of
Sure.
4K.
because I was asking him how it works, and I'll just save it for the video so you guys can see it. But it's pretty interesting. That was probably one of the most impressive things that I saw there. On the floor as with the Grimani systems and everything else that I didn't get to see. There was another comment here that I was going to.
Like you said, one more panel each month.
Yellow Mobile says, I could have sworn a Nakamichi Dragon was a very high-end cassette deck when I was a kid.
I think
Apparently it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been there.
So they've been
a
around
while.
for a long, long time. So I guess they took a
remember-
break for a while, right? And just
I remember
guess
this
came
rap
back.
lyric. You got to hit him with that Nakamichi. I don't remember who said that one, but I always remember that one stuck out. And I remember that they were in Mercedes back in the day, especially in the Biggie Smalls and Tupac era.
Crazy, man. Yeah, they've been around for a long time. I didn't really know about them until the Dragons. People start talking about the Dragons like Nakamichi. And I was like, oh, they've been around for a while. There we are. Look at that thing, man. That thing looks old.
That is the pinnacle of hi-fi right there, my man.
Do we know what year this is?
I don't know.
There's
man.
not even a TV screen on it.
It's $3,000 on eBay right now.
Oh man,
That looks like before Christ, man. That's a BC.
BC.
We're talking-
But speaking of Barco's got some. I'm impressed with Barco, man. I just recently had never seen one. I think until maybe CES or Imway, but their stuff is impressive, man. And the lens on those things it's ridiculous. The lens is like this big. But Greg says Barco's wall was amazing. Home Theater Engineering did a YouTube video on it today. Yeah, I mean, I think we can all attest Barco is they're legit. Did
the Storm Audio Room have Barco or what did
I
it
look
have?
at Chris over here. He's like,
yeah, he's the only one being quiet.
I think my only thing.
There's a reason.
I wish they had better black levels. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
That's my biggest thing. But the problem is once you get to a certain screen size, JVC isn't going to cut it. Sony isn't going to cut it unless you go to like the
80.
GTZ
The
380.
GT.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah,
With the Mad VR, that thing is killer.
yeah, and it's gorgeous. But the Barco to me, I again something about that. I was watching one demo one time and the screen went black, like it just totally dark. But it was
You mean
so
it went gray?
Yeah, well, it was so, honestly, it was so lit up. I turned around and I'm like, is the light on back there?
Wow.
Yeah, and so again, they just don't have a real deep black floor. But other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful picture. It's a nice picture, and it can get huge. But like I said, I just wish it was a little bit better on the black levels to me.
Well, you
I
know what?
think the Christie,
That's what I was gonna say.
is the only one that has that black floor on lockdown.
Yeah, it's like
Christie Griffin.
man,
That's
Barco would be the
OLED
Sony,
projector.
and then the Christie would be the JVC, and that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
color
the-
versus black level trade off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, last year they had like their own. Well, it wasn't their own booth; they were paired. But I didn't see them this year. Was Christy there?
Christie was in the Alcon.
It was in the
Yeah.
Alcon's room.
Was it the Alcon? Yeah.
With
Yeah,
Nigel.
and it looked good.
Man, that thing is
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a different level, man.
So I've seen
That's
the
OLED black.
yes as well as the Eclipse, and by far, I mean the best projector I've ever seen.
Yeah, they
Both.
played Mario in that
Mhm.
room,
Ooh,
and
I'm
like
man, I missed that.
I was sitting there trying to film, right? So I'm kind of like peeping at the little small screen on there, but then at the same time I'm looking, I'm like,
Right, you want to catch a peek?
like,
Yep. Yeah.
like you,
Yeah,
like you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
you can't even process like what those colors are because you've never seen colors like that in your entire life. Like your OLED isn't going to give you the crazy like overstimulation that you're going to be getting from that Mario Kart scene. Like I'm like mind blown. Like it was nuts.
Yeah, last year they showed the Thor scene at the end with all those bright colors, and that was amazing, man. So I can't imagine what that Mario is looking like. $5 Joe wires.
That's my go-to to test out different cables, different power adders, whatever in my system. I always go to that Space Vikings scene because those spectral highlights, whenever the lightning bolts go out, you can literally see a difference every little increment that you change on your system. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, that thing is $450,000.
Yeah.
So we got a question
up,
for
man.
Chris. Chris, do you do projector/envy calibrations in Houston?
Only one way to find out. Hit up thegrid.com. You know what I mean?
Shameless plug. Someone says, I wish my Sony had better black levels. Aw.
Tier.
Sony does too.
You're not alone.
Dang!
I have a Sony.
Got him.
I have a Sony, and I am currently saving to move to a JVC.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
I have
it's
the-
the lowest end. I have the 325, which is the lowest end 4K.
How can you see anything
And-
on that one?
I'm
Your
done.
screen's
Like,
77 inches?
psychologically, I'm done with that projector. Like, I've broken up with it, and I'm ready to
You read the divorce papers.
just let it go.
What
Just-
JVC you gunning for?
It's gonna be either one of the 7s. I can't do the 8 or 9, man.
Mhm.
That's
Call up the grid
It's
hi-fi.
still beautiful, man.
Yeah, I would have to do the 7, either for the new model or maybe like an 8 for the previous model. But anything is going to be better than mine. I'm sorry,
Man.
Sony, but anything is going to be better than my 325. Yes.
That NZ9 is it's pretty sweet, man.
Oh,
I love it because because the laser can dim itself in specific areas in which, like Michael was just talking about with some of the Sonys or the Barcos, it's not necessarily black whenever the image is black. It's kind of like a small grayscale. But what they lack in black levels, they make up for in color and sharpness. So I mean, really, whenever you're spending your money on either one of these things, whether it's the Sony 7000 or the JVC NZ9 or 4100, you're not trading your money for a big box of crap at that point. Literally, you just pick which one that you want to focus on. So if black levels are your absolute favorite, and you've always known that, then to go to the JVC. But if you like color pop and you want absolute sharpness, then you're gonna have to go with the Sony. So
The Sony has the color lockdown.
Yeah. So kind of the way to bridge the gap in between the two is where you're really approaching a really minute level of performance is you would be hard pressed to do a Pepsi challenge and pick out which one would be the Sony and which one would be the top of the line JVC with a Mad VR attached to it. Challenge down.
Yellow
We do
Mobile. What's that, Mike?
I said we do it in wave. We'll put them side
Nice.
by side. You can just see for yourself. Can you see a difference? So
Yellow Mobile says, I've never seen an eclipse, but surely physics says no projector can do black levels the same as an OLED. You haven't seen that Christie, man.
Well,
It's,
I
Bro,
think what he's saying
you
is
haven't seen that, Chris.
with the OLED, you can physically turn on and off.
right, the
individual
pixels.
lights.
Yeah.
Can't really do that with projection. So although they get
Yeah.
really, really dark, I think he's right. I mean, you can't get absolutely black because you can't physically turn off a light emitting projector, if that makes sense or not. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree with the physics, but just looking at that,
It's-
remember, Michael, we actually put our hands in front of us, and we
Yeah.
couldn't see
Yeah.
our hands right in front of us.
You know what's
between the scenes.
Ooh.
what's funny about that too?
And for the screen size, that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Light
Oh, yeah,
stuff
definitely.
on.
What's
that
funny about
Dark.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that was last year. They had the room, of
Yeah.
course, completely dark. And Nigel's really, really particular. I was filming and he's like, "Hey, what's that?" I'm
I
like,
was
"What's
going to say
that?"
that too.
Just one little light on a stinking Rode
Camera?
microphone. And he walks over to me and he hands me some
Black
electrical.
tapes.
He did that to Chris last year.
Yeah, it was highly embarrassing.
did
I
it
actually,
all
I actually
of
kept it
us.
for an entire year.
Yeah,
was-
we walked
were-
in there together and we were both filming,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I don't know, third of the way through, he kept looking over. I'm like, what is he looking at? And he walked over to Chris. And was it your camera? Or was it the Rode mic also?
No, it was the gimbal. It has power
Oh, yeah,
bars
yeah.
at the bottom, so I had 4 power bars on there. So he came up to he literally just like went boop, and then he left. And that's where it stayed for an entire year. I'm like, man, I'm keeping this.
We were messing with him during that demo. I said, Nigel's so serious. Like, if you smile, he's going to put some, black tape on your teeth. Serious, man. He's like,
Maybe I'm them pearly whites that Michael got. Shoot, see them teeth from space, man. Good job. I drink too much coffee.
Right. Mikey says, I have the 5000 ES. I know you were likely going with that one from one of your recent videos. Black levels aside, for the price, it's amazing. Yeah, I ended up still using the Epson. That just ended up better for me and my setup. They're both very good projectors. Obviously, like we've said, the Sony's, you're going to get better detail, better sharpness, better overall picture, but it's not going to get as bright as the Epson. And then the Epson's got HDMI 2.1, which, you don't really need that for movies unless you're trying to like game and stuff. But yeah, congrats, man. The 5000 ES is a solid projector. Gaffer tape.
Yeah, he literally came up with gaffer's tape on my lights.
Yep.
It's the
That's
funniest
funny
thing
that he
ever.
does that to everybody.
he's serious.
Let's see. Another one says, I'd have thought that little DLP they've badged up isn't going to do JVC's reputation any favors. I'm not sure what he's talking about.
He's talking about the NZ3,
Oh.
I believe, or the NZ30 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not meant to. I mean, like, things are
Yeah.
entry level prices for entry level reasons. Like it's not meant to be, the DLP or anything like that. Like, things cost what they do to, fit specific purposes. Like, not everyone has NZ8 budget. So most people have LS 12,000 budget.
Yeah. It's a great projector, man. Again, it goes back to what we were saying. Don't try to buy everything all at once, man. Like, start off with something.
Like,
yeah,
I literally
it
sell
does.
this stuff every single day, and like, for you to sit there and like look at the bottom dollar amount on this thing installed, it stings. So if you do it over time, and that's what I do a lot of times with my customers, I'm like, hey man, let's just get you functional. Like, let's do a simple 5.1 with projection system. We'll add all the rest of the stuff on later on. The Kaleidoscape, the better cables, the Mad VR, whatever. Let's do all that down the road. Let's just get you enjoying the system, because you're never going to be happy with ripping that Band-Aid off, going into debt with your system, if it's a little bit of an overstretch. So definitely words of wisdom, buy it all in chunks.
Which is a good segue. Joe Wire says, do you own Grid Hi-Fi, Chris?
No, I'm the general manager, but I'm also a customer.
Nice. That home theater dude.
Like that.
He still got his YouTube.
Guy. I need some of that. You guys got to buy some more stuff, so I can't afford it.
Let's see. Are there anything else? Anything else you guys saw that stood out at Cedia?
Alcons. That was a really good room.
I didn't get to see that one. No
Oh my
surprise.
God, what did you do there?
Pretty loud.
Was that next to the Germani systems?
It was right next to it.
Okay, so that's who was
It was
playing
right next
super
to it.
loud.
Yeah. They definitely had it pretty hot in that room.
Yeah, they had it cranking super loud, but I think that's why I enjoyed the Grimani room better. It didn't have to play that loud for you to feel that same level of immersion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all those guys in there
I
are
think
cool,
the active
man.
room treatment helped out with that too, because since the room was leaking, they had to bump up the bass, I think he said, by like 12 dB, just to give it that extra little bit of room pressurization. Because obviously, if you have a screen door open and you're trying to pressurize something, everything's going to leak out of that area. So they were definitely two completely different approaches to doing a system. But I felt like the sophistication of the Alcon system just could not be, dismissed. It was a really well thought out system.
Yeah. MW Alcons is the name of the speaker system.
So what kind of, are they using active? Like what kind of speaker system is it?
They had a weird. Did you see that, Michael? The amps that they had.
No, I didn't go to. Was it in the back, like outside?
It was outside because they had the Trinom up top. They had the Mad VR, and then they had I think the Kaleidoscape, and then they had their stack of amps.
Okay,
and it was literally like a big eye, like it just kept like going up and down and like blinking. But that was like the display for the amplifiers. So that entire room was running on that that amplifier set. There's like I think 8 of them, and they're like 2.5 each.
It's all digital.
Yeah, someone says was Alcons all digital.
I don't think so. And
whoever paid for that electricity bill, man. Good God.
They pay extra.
They were running some gigawatts in that mother.
Well, and what was it last year, Michael, for Cedia to drop an Ethernet line? What was that?
Stupid money. I mean, it's like $10,000.
That's insane. That's just wild to me.
Yeah, just to get an Ethernet dropped our booth, it was either 10,000 or 20,000. It was, I mean, stupid money. You know, some of these brands, when they build a full room, like the Trinom room, I mean, they can spend $500,000, $100,000 on that whole. No. Yeah, 500,000 to $1 million. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
These are really, really high end, expensive setups, man. For them to come and do Cedia, it's a massive undertaking. So it's a big expense. So I think Ryan was saying for their booth when he was with Mad VR, they just needed like some carpet to lay down over some cables or something. It was like $1,000 just to get some carpet. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
No, I don't think the Grimani system was all digital like everyone keeps asking about. Actually, no, Grimani was because it was using
Alcon wasn't.
Alcon wasn't, yeah, because it was using the Trinom. So
actually,
currently, the only one that does AV over IP is the Storm. But Trinom has the ability to do Dante coming up shortly.
Mikey himself says, did Hisense say the price of the U8K is still not on their website available from distribution? So it sounds like, what's that?
Was that the 100-inch one?
Yeah. So you said it was, it's I guess 5, right? MSRP, it's $10,000.
Yeah,
it's
$9. It's all value electronics for 5, right?
Yeah. When I was talking with Erin, she basically said, you know, it's listed at 10, but she said we might have like some sales around the 5-ish. So
who are these guys? Are JTR?
Yeah, if you watch my video on the Hisense, you will get the price there.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Oh, look at
shameless
that
plug. Oh, nice.
The price is on there. It's on the video.
Right, yeah.
They said it live. So go watch the video. You see it.
We'll just put the time.
I just posted that today.
Plug.
I posted a video today, so go watch it.
I'm not the only one.
Props to Ike, man. He's been posting a lot more, man. We've been trying to get him to. I think at M-Wave he told me he had like 20 videos edited. I'm like, dude, you need to get on that, man. Some views.
Crank them out, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes we overthink it. Just post it. Get it done.
I know.
Sitting on a mountain.
I'm slowly doing that now.
The sad thing is the ones that you spend the most time on usually
they get no views.
Yeah. And the ones that you're like, you just throw it up there. Like,
yeah, the throwaways.
The prime example. You know, we're at Audio Vice Live, and I just happened to be at the right place, right time, and the guys were unboxing the Bowers and Wilkins Nautilus speaker. It looks like a snail. And I said, hey guys, can I film this? I've never seen, you know, somebody setting this up. I thought that'd be kind of cool. So I hit record on my phone. You know, a minute later, I upload it. I did just a real quick edit, and that video in a month got 10 million views.
That's insane.
So it's like I didn't spend any time on that thing, man. I've
it's a short.
Yeah, exactly. But you just never know. So you just gotta crank it out, Ike. Absolutely, man. If you got content, you know, get to editing.
Yep. That's the part I don't like, right? The editing part. But yeah, I'm doing much
then pay
better
Jordan.
now.
Jordan will edit them for you.
Yeah, I'll do it. Actually, you know, when I first started doing YouTube, I didn't know anything, man. I didn't know anything about editing. I didn't have any editing software. In fact, when I first started editing for Chris, I was still bootlegging a Final Cut Pro.
Yeah,
He's like,
you were like doing
he's
like
like,
this
hey, man,
like 3 year long like free trial.
I
I'm
did a
like,
free
dude,
trial
just
for a
pay for it,
year.
man.
Yeah,
Funny.
so when I started editing for Chris, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I should probably go legit because. But yeah, it's funny, man. Yeah, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about editing. I didn't know anything about cameras. One of my buddies, actually the guy that came with me, that was my cameraman. He's a photographer. He was like, dude, why didn't you hit me up, man? I could have told you about lighting and stuff. But
Mhm.
I actually don't mind editing. I mean, there's some days where I'm like, I don't feel like doing any of this stuff. Especially when you come back from shows like this and you've got 10, 15, 20 videos to edit. But it's
That's why I paid Jordan
it's
to do
fine.
it.
I'm editing on the flight home, man. I don't.
I don't
mind.
know how you do that, man. I can't edit
That's easy
especially on
for
one
me.
screen. I
Yeah,
can't do it.
No, that's
It
easy
sucks,
for me.
but I mean, especially if you're in the middle. I
Yeah.
always sit near the aisle. It's like this doing it on a computer, man. That's not good.
Yeah.
Keeping us awake till 3 a.m. like this.
Yeah, this guy over here, man, he's edited. What did you say? He was editing till like 2 a.m. one time or something?
Yeah, it's like normal process for Michael, man. This up to 3 a.m. I think this time he even had to go pay for like extra internet package.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
it's still
the regular hotel
even
one
buying
was
the
slow.
faster internet. It still was going to take an hour and a half per
Yeah.
video, and I had 2 videos, 2 brands that wanted a same day edit, so stayed up to about 2:30 editing those, and you just hit upload, go to bed, wake up the next morning, hope it's uploaded.
That's why I don't even bother like trying to upload it at hotels, man, because it's
It's terrible.
the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi there or the internet, and you can't get Ethernet. You know, I mean, maybe if you go to some, they might have someone like in a lobby or something, but I don't even bother.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, shameless plug. Here we go.
I think I'll drop.
Hey, do it.
Someone asked for it. No,
When you
he
click it,
asked
nothing
for it.
happens.
in
No.
the chat, so.
That's good, man. Yeah, continue to support everybody on the channel. Let's see.
H Tech.
Easy home theater tech.
So
It's-
look at this question here or comment. He says,
Okay.
MW says, problem is there's no audiophile amps that have digital in. Actually, they do. I mean, even Grimani Systems has his own. So, and so they're, like I said, they're literally using a Cat 6 connection. So they're using an Ethernet connection to come out of the Storm to go into
It's
an
crazy.
Ethernet switch, out of that switch into each one of the Grimani Systems amplifiers, and then out of that analog to the speakers. So,
Yeah, technology, man. It's growing and it's getting very exciting.
Yeah.
You know, obviously those are Storm, Trinov, those are high end processors that most people. But eventually, man, that stuff is going to start trickling down into some of the more affordable stuff, and just being able to send audio and stuff over a Cat 5 that cuts out so much wiring, man. That's
Cable management, yeah.
Yeah.
And it could save you money with doing the wiring, because if you're paying for the expensive fancy cabling, you're still letting your DACs do all that process. So if even then you weren't to necessarily buy 16 XLRs, which could cost you a grip of money, even if you were just to buy maybe a 1,000-foot spool of better quality cat cable that has silver conductors in it or some better shielding, that might actually be worth it in the first place. But I realize as I'm saying this, saving money versus a system that cost you $19,000 just to get a processor isn't necessarily saving anyone any money. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. Technology's out there. There's different things. There's different approaches to different stuff, and it really just depends on how you want to flavor what you want to do. All kinds of different systems out there. Some people believe in cables, some people don't. It's like religion to some people. But in my experience, just try something, see if it works for you.
So Benny says, Chris, we need more behind the scene theater build videos.
I have tons, man. Like I was talking about, like I was filming for this last year. I can't necessarily put out some of the videos, but because it has previous partners or previous companies in there that I was, working with. So it's not necessarily conducive for me to put out those videos. So it's almost as if it's just wasted content. But I do have my home theater. It's finished. It was finished and now it's unfinished because I sold 12 of the Ascendo speakers. So now whenever those get replaced with the brand new brand, you guys will be watching that as it unfolds too. So I really appreciate you guys following me along for the journey. I know that a lot of you guys are diehard fans, especially Michael. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more updates coming up shortly. And I really appreciate you guys for sticking in there. I know it's not necessarily been easy for me taking a year off at a time, pretty much for a while. So that's all I got, man. Really, really, really appreciate you guys. And that you guys are sticking by me, and I'm sticking by y'all too.
Yeah, and his theater. Well, I know it's changed now, but it slams. It's pretty nice. High Finest says, "What is the honest feedback on a Storm or Trinov versus Denon 8805? 4 times the price for 4 times the performance."
So you're talking about mass-produced DACs versus you're talking about a mass-produced vehicle versus a hand-built quality vehicle with premium hand-picked components. So even though, at that point, yes, you can get a lot of performance out of a Denon, and I'm not refuting that. There are definite benefits, especially with the IP that comes along with buying a Trinov. The optimizer in there, it is literally game-changing. Like it remaps speakers so well that it'll trick your brain into thinking that, hey, there's a speaker like right here. And you can look there and there's no speaker there in sight. It's just really, really effective at doing room correction and remapping. And I think that is the premium with something like that. Plus, they're giving you the 4+ channels that you guys can also upgrade as well. So even if you've maxed out your 16 channels like most people have, they give you an extra free 4 channels that obviously you have to buy amps and DACs for, but they give you that ability too. So, I mean, I don't like saying that stuff that's expensive can be of value, because a lot of the times people that are poo-pooing it aren't going to buy them. So it's kind of one of those hard things, like you can't tell someone how great, something is if they're never going to, experience it for themselves.
Any thoughts on that,
You
Michael?
can have a lot more flexibility too in the programming side of it on a Storm and a Trinov, than you can get with a Denon. I think they provide a huge value in the space, but it really just depends on your application. If you got a ton of speakers, if you've got not great room acoustics, a Trinov and a Storm are probably going to do a whole lot better job than Odyssey is going to do. So
yeah, and in my experience, Odyssey doesn't necessarily do too much to correct the room per se. In deploying these things, like it gets you in the general ballpark on where the speakers are located, if they get the crossovers right, or if they get even the size of the speakers right. It's kind of a hit or miss. So you always got to trust but verify with something like that. But there's a lot more flexibility in doing a Trinov, and obviously your experience gets better, doing that as well. But I get it. Not everyone can afford them, and not everyone wants one. So, I mean, there's a level of sophistication and complexity that is involved in it that isn't necessarily everyone's cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of affording, I don't know if this is a joke, but this dude says I have both Storm and Trinov.
Wow. Why not?
So if that's true, man, props to you.
Yeah, and I think between the Trinov and this particular model of Denon, there's a lot of other great processors in between that price
definitely.
point that you can get, so you don't have to get the Denon if you're already looking at a Trinov.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about 2 different, like you said, Chris saying, mass produced, they're relying on chips. Trinov doesn't rely on a chip. Like it's software that they're being able to do all the things that they're doing.
64-bit float, you know what I mean?
64.
Michael talking about that 32 in his microphones, man. These freaking DACs are like to the moon and back.
Oh, that's
But let's be honest, like the Marantz laid down the gauntlet last year whenever they brought out their AV10.
Amp 10, that thing was nice.
Oh man, that thing is.
That's still to this day my personal favorite room, and I think because I just walked in there just unexpectedly after lunch. I didn't have any of my gear. I was like, let me just go check this room out. And me and Chris both talked about that. I was like, you're using the Amp 10 and AV10 Marantz. That room sounded incredible, man. With the Bowers and Wilkins CT speakers, man, that was impressive.
Yeah, you can do a lot with Marantz these days, and that's why I'm selling the absolute beans out of these things. Is because people, the delta in between the Denon and Marantz of days of yore wasn't necessarily a big deal. I really felt like there is a massive diving board difference in between the Marantzes now versus the Denons that are out available now. So definitely recommend you guys check these things out at your local shops. Make the decision for yourself. I mean, big difference. Save you some beans over going and getting a Trinov out there, right off the rip.
Yeah. Somebody's trying to get a deal, man. Trinov
Come
in
on
my
in.
future. Cut me a deal, Grid Hi-Fi.
Only one way to find out.
Somebody says, I had a Grant Anthony Grimani come out and calibrate, so I'm biased.
Oh, damn. This guy's been blessed.
I love my Denon A1H before getting my Trinov. Oh, nice. Yeah, the A1H is that's no slouch either. So congrats on the upgrade, man. You just took a
How
huge
many
leap.
people have a Trinov in the chat? Like all of you guys have a Trinov.
You don't? You get
Did I
you
miss
get
like a sale? Did I miss a sale or something?
These things don't go on
What's
sale,
going
man.
on,
Yeah.
I know, right? Like, what's going on, man?
They're just falling.
Oh, man.
Somebody
I had
hook
this
me up, man.
I had this poor customer that bought a secondhand Storm, and he's been going through it with repairs. And my God, I get you guys want to save some money and to save some bucks, but you spend your money wisely. Is your time? What's your time worth? Is it worth the headache to sit there and you lose your unit for several months on end? I don't know, but that's only a question that you guys can answer.
Look at this one's good. Tarhoya is a chat making me feel poor.
Oh, this guy coming in with the anthem, man.
Yeah, I had an Anthem too, but yeah, man, it's yeah, I think that's pretty much in game for everybody. Trinov, Storm, but again, realistically, the average consumer, home theater enthusiast, is not going to be able to afford that. At least not starting off. If you're just getting started, if you got the cash to do it, man, do it. But don't get that in your head right away. Got to get it Chris was saying, start small. Start with Marantz, Denon. Onkyo's making some better stuff now. Do your research. See what's out there. If you can get into an actual showroom and listen to the stuff, that's going to be the best way, is to hear it in person or go to CES or, M-Wave or something like that. I think we've all done the blind buys and stuff. Yeah.
I have this this flight program that I went through, and I did a completely different aspect of it than anyone else did. So I got my private pilot's license before I joined this flight school. But there were kids that were there, and they literally spent $24,000, $30,000, and they still didn't have a license, because you get it wrapped into your instrument and commercial license at the end. So, get a reward along the way, just so that you can sit there and, sit back and reflect upon your hard work,
Oh man,
Love.
Joe Wires can buy 4 used Mad VRs for the price of new. So yeah, worth it. Laugh out loud. So far, so good.
Dude,
I mean,
easy, man. Why do you keep highlighting these comments, man? I'm trying to run a legitimate business here.
What'd you say, Michael?
So I'm waiting on Don to actually finish his room so he can use his Lingdorf. He bought that
Oh, man.
2 or 3 years ago, Don.
Wow.
On the chat.
What is he using it
Don's
with?
room is coming soon.
Oh, I remember Don. He's been hitting me up since the old DM days.
You need to get that room done, man, so you can enjoy it.
Let's see. I think we got a few
What's up,
left.
Scott? See you, man.
I demoed the Sony 7000 ES before the Denon A1H. The 360 spatial mapping was pretty good for a first try on the AVR. It's no turn-up, but also costs $3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that. Was that February, right? When we went to Austin, Chris, with Sony.
January. It was right before I became GM of the shop.
Okay, so it was right after
Ice-Mageddon.
CES. That's right. Okay, yeah, that was the $1 million. That was a $1 million Airbnb. That house was crazy, man.
Terrifying.
Yeah,
Walking up that
it's a
hill
mansion
with all that
Oh
ice.
man, it took us 5 minutes to walk up there.
I was winded. The elevation got me.
Chris, put on a Stroh's hat and I'll take it easy with the price talk. What does that mean?
Probably never going to happen.
Astro.
This guy knows me, apparently.
Let's see. Youth Man says LED walls need to figure out proper center channel before they were over. Yeah, that's my biggest gripe with LED walls. Like, it's nice to have that big wall, but then, like, if you take up your whole wall, where's your speaker going to go? Like, on a stand on the floor, angled?
This
Like,
has
I
already
don't.
been thought about for years ahead of
Yeah.
time because, like, with the development of these new DV LEDs, they already have companies like Ascendo and Procella and I think Meyer Sound even has these speakers that it's not necessarily ceiling bounce, but you bounce it off of your DV LED. And it sounds hokey and gimmicky, but it's so sophisticated that it's very realistic. So, you know, we're kind of getting into the one of those floor to ceiling type, Back to the Future type screens, but we're getting into a realm of if you can't afford it, you know, there are options out there for you.
Yeah. And like I said, that's just the biggest thing. If they can figure that out and make it, you know, sound well, then absolutely I can see where they can take over a projector at some point in time once the price comes down. I think they were mentioning that Anthony Gramani was, I don't know if he was considering doing that or he was trying, you know, he's playing around with that a little bit. I don't think he had that set up at, well, I guess they didn't need to because they were using a acoustic transparent screen in this one. So
We got a super chat. Thank you, Greg. He says 1 to 2 cool items you all saw that were not audio video specific. That's a good question.
I went by the Prolux booth. Pretty high end, to me, pretty high end lighting.
It's not crazy expensive either. Like it's actually
cheaper
affordable.
than the other stuff, you know, like the competitors, but it's still, I mean, it's decently expensive.
Oh,
that was,
look at
Oh shoot, I got it right here too.
yeah, it was a really cool booth.
Boom.
Seriously.
We both got them.
Don't make me bust out mine, dog.
Jordan
You
was
guys
yours.
I can't bust down anything.
All right, you bust it out, just make Jordan feel,
do it.
So if you guys know, like this stuff makes a difference.
feel better, Jordan. There you go.
Jordy, I'll send you one.
Gotta have some fun.
Yeah,
with
but
it.
like this lighting stuff is really, really cool. Like
It is.
you don't
That's
necessarily
cool.
have to do it while you're building your house. You can terminate this stuff in an existing room. And it's literally as simple as just taking out a can and putting in a new one. It's really easy. It's actually really affordable. And the cool thing is you can have these things tuned kind of like Lutron Ketra lights, in which I'm not sure if you guys know anything about that, but it's kind of like
That's
it
expensive.
changes. It's very expensive. It changes upon your circadian rhythms, helps you sleep better. You know, it helps you stay more awake during the day. It helps you wind down at the end of the night. I mean, it's some really cool stuff.
Yeah, it literally will change color temperature depending on the time of the day.
Oh, okay.
To match what's going on outside. It's pretty wild. I saw a demo of that at Atlanta Home Theater.
So when you say cheaper, like ballpark, what are we talking? Cheaper than, you know, like Lutron stuff? Like what are we talking here?
So Ketra by large, is probably one of the more expensive ones. So if you understand what Ketra is, you're probably looking at a pretty sophisticated system because it does do a lot of that emotional type of response to lighting. And something like Prolux is actually a little more affordable because you can still buy the equipment and the programming for it without the crazy Ketra prices. But whatever you want to do, there's options out there for you. And they even have LED tape, which is taking off right now because a lot of people aren't even using cans anymore. Like this stuff back here, this is neon, but we're going to be swapping over our shop to LED. This stuff is actually mudded into your drywall. So you can just basically just cut a hole in your drywall like you're putting in a speaker. You put in a channel, you put the diffuser over it, you mud over that with drywall mud. And then literally all you do is you flick a switch and you see a light go from boop all the way up. And it's really, really cool. So instead of getting out of the old 4 cans and a fan way of doing things and lighting, that's really, really cool take on things. And being that my theater is the darkest theater that I've ever seen in my entire life, I think that adding some lighting in there would definitely, make it a little more of a livable space.
Did you call it like the Bat Cave at some point?
That
was his other one.
My last theater, yeah. But this is a new one that just got done.
It's dark.
It's super dark. I don't even think you saw it with the panels on, did you?
Not all of them. You didn't have all of them up yet.
Yeah, all the panels are up, and it's like it sucks light out of the room.
Like Abe says.
I think for me, what I saw was the D-Box. I finally got to experience the D-Box.
Oh, they were there?
And the racing scene. Yeah.
Where were they at? What
It
part?
was.
They were
Jesus
on
Christ.
the
Jordan,
south
where
They were
are
by
you?
Hisense.
Right there.
right
You were
by
right
High.
behind Hisense, bro. Like
Oh, okay.
right
I didn't know
behind
that,
Hisense.
'Cause I was charging in the back closet, man.
That's
Like
funny.
in
Yeah.
our closet just to charge batteries and stuff. And one
Oh.
time we were crashed.
I think one honorable mention we should talk about is the brand new RP22 standards for home theater. I think that is, well, it's home theater audio. I think that should be talked about for sure. It's like a 138-page Bible of what it is, peer reviewed. It is no BS. It is the absolute. This is what should be done. For setting up your system, and there's different tiers to it. So, did you guys get to read that one yet?
I
got that
downloaded it. I started reading it.
It's page turner, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Matthew,
was on a different show discussing it. When was that?
I was
On
talking with
Monday?
Matthew Bose, and he, I
Yeah.
guess he's on that board, so he has input on that. So he was telling me, I guess there's different ratings, like 1, 2, 3, and 4 for your theater room, I guess, based on different criteria. So
Yeah, and you're not certified unless you meet all of them. Like, it's not a close enough.
yeah,
So I'm sure that there's going to be some guys out there be like, oh, well, I got a 4+ next weekend.
Yeah, Abe says, what do you guys think about room speaker layouts in 2023 for a 19-channel room? I was looking at the RP22 and surprised they had RO3D still. So, I mean, 19 channels, that's pretty, what kind of system, or what kind of, I'm assuming you're using a processor to have that many channels. But yeah, I mean, it depends on your setup. It depends on your space. Like we were talking about before, something like a Trinov, that's got that remapping technology. You don't have to have your speakers in the correct location if you can't. So, I mean, if you've got the funds to go with something like a Trinov, you're going to get the best bang for your buck. You're going to get more because then you're going to give you 4 more channels, and then you're going to be able to have that remapping technology. I mean, 19 channels, I'm assuming you have a pretty sizable room. And you're not cramming 19 channels in like a 10 by 10 room,
10 by 15 room or something. But yeah, maybe RO3D is not really as dead as many people want to, I guess. So
There's
I was
just no
surprised
content.
to see that they pointed to it. Yeah,
It's
There's just
such
no
a good
content in the
updates,
US.
though. Like,
That's what everybody says.
You can just sit there and watch like The Simpsons on it, and it's a lot more engaging than just Dolby Digital.
yeah. I use it a lot when I'm watching regular regular TV stuff.
A lot of people say they like it better than the actual Dolby Atmos tracks, like native tracks. But I haven't had a chance to hear, an R3D system. MW's
when they're
go
doing
ahead.
2-channel upmixing, I like that.
Okay.
If you only have 2, like if you're listening to only 2-channel music, I do like what it does for upmixing on that. So it's pretty cool. But movies, it's okay.
MW says, I think Youthman mentioned in the last chat an automated system that used Chat GPT. I don't know what he's referring to.
Automated system?
Home theater GPT.
Yeah. I don't
That'll be wild, man.
I don't think that was me. I don't remember that conversation.
Well, I think looks like I don't see any more questions. Do you guys? I think we can go ahead and call it. We're at 1 hour and 38 minutes. So awesome stream. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys in the chat for supporting the channel. We all have YouTube channels. We all appreciate the support. Sometimes we get busy and sometimes we're not able to upload or post as frequently as we want to. Like this guy over here.
I'm trying to point to you like the Brady Bunch.
That's funny.
There it goes.
There it is. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody that continues to support the channel. We're all at different stages in our YouTube career, but we greatly appreciate it, man. And thank you guys for supporting this channel and everybody else's channel. If you're not subscribed already and you're watching, what are you doing?
Yeah, Chris, go subscribe to my channel.
Oh, you got called out. You got called out.
I'll do it right now. I'll do it live.
Let's share the screen and do it. But yeah, man, thank you everybody that tuned in today. I know Youthman's got his Sunday live stream that he does every Sunday. Chris doesn't you don't usually live stream, but every once in a while you'll pop up on a live stream, and then Ike. So you see Ike sometimes on my channel. So appreciate everybody. You guys wanna say any parting words before you leave? Ike, you got anything to say?
Thank you for all the support. Thanks for having me on, and looking forward to enjoying the journey.
Cool.
Yo,
cool.
dog, you got
Oh, yeah.
17,000 subscribers?
Ooh.
Yeah, HD
Yeah,
tech
coming
videos?
soon. By the end of the year, I would have one. So, no, I don't. You're probably looking at
find
the
it.
wrong channel, Chris.
Well, I'll put everything in the chat afterwards. Oh, actually, you put it in the chat already, didn't you, Ike? Earlier. somewhere.
Yeah, Ike dropped his own link.
Hey,
Nice.
you got to drop your own link.
Hey, you
bro.
got to do it, man. You got to do it. Chris, any parting words?
Yeah, save $80,000 and buy my subwoofer. It's on sale. So I have the 50. If you guys are looking for it, looking to sell it. So come and get it. Bring a truck.
Yeah,
A big
'cause
truck.
We're not
Lot of-
helping you.
Yeah, big truck.
You don't have to help me. The person that's buying that is going to have the help supplied for them
There
with
you go.
their horse-drawn carriages that they're bringing along. That wants to get it. But if you guys want to buy the Black Swans, I have those as well, and those are killer. I don't want to sell them, but they gots to go.
Yeah, I've heard
So
the
2
Black Swans.
SMSG21 Ascendo sealed subwoofers, those are going as well. So if you guys want to any of this stuff, you guys know where to go. Contact me. I'd be happy to help you out.
Michael?
Enjoyed it, man. Always enjoy hanging out with you, Jordan. I love your passion for the space. I love your attitude.
Yeah, he's not run down by the business yet like me.
What's cool about you, Jordan, is I mean, like you're already at the shows, dude. You're showing up, and that's pretty awesome. You're getting in front of brands. You're getting in front of your audience. You're making connections and networking really early on in the game, and that's super cool. You're also a lot younger than we are, so you got a lot more energy.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm about to be 39. I'm not that young, so. But yeah, I appreciate that, man, and I appreciate all you guys. Chris, Dr. Chris, and Youth Man. You guys both have really been a huge help to me and help to my channel. I can honestly say, without either of you guys, I wouldn't be where I am right now, even though my channel is still small. So I appreciate all the help. I appreciate all the wisdom, and appreciate you guys, being there and supporting me, and Ike as well, man. Got to meet you at M-Wave last year in Dallas, and we're all in this together. So appreciate it, guys. I think we're going to ahead and call it. Everybody, have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All right, guys.
Bing, 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 bing.
Thank you.
Later.